Welcome to Daily Bread. I'm Aaron Smith, your financial design coach. I am always excited about sharing financial topics that will allow you to build wealth for yourself and your family. I hope that you have something to write with, something to write on as I share the information with you this evening. Before we get started, let me tell you a little bit about Daily Bread Podcast. First of all, it is everything financial. We talk about everything under the sun that has to do with allowing you to build on your financial knowledge and also build on your financial wealth. This podcast is for individuals who are business owners, college educated, higher educated, 150,000, 200,000, 300,000, 500,000 income, and you're stuck. You're not sure why you are not where you want to be financially, even though you have a high income. Some of you have been able to be successful financially. You've built your wealth, your net worth, but you're looking to even improve on that net worth even much greater. This show is for you. Just a little bit about me. I am a financial planner. I am an author. I am a father, grandfather, husband, and I am a business owner. Currently, right now, I run an investment advisory firm just outside of Richmond, Virginia. We currently have a little bit over $250 million in assets under management and assets under advisement. You will get the real deal on this podcast as it relates to money. My goal is to help those who are making a lot of income to improve on their financial net worth. Currently, there are 4.2 million Black millionaires in this country. My goal is to increase that number dramatically. Why are you here, Aaron? Why are you doing this podcast? The reason I'm doing this podcast is because money gives you peace of mind. It gives you comfortability. It gives you independence. It gives you freedom. It helps you improve your health. It allows you to build even a stronger relationship with your family. And ultimately, it allows you to be able to do things that are important to you and your God. So welcome to Daily Bread. If you could grab something to write with, something to write on, we're going to talk about, in this session, we're going to talk about breaking the cycle. How to build wealth when your circle doesn't understand it. And many of us, including yours truly, my background is such that my circle doesn't understand money. Just to kind of give you a little bit of my background as regards to how I grew up. I grew up in the city of Richmond. My father was a truck driver. My mother was a domestic worker. Myself and my two brothers, we lived paycheck to paycheck. And sometimes when the paycheck wasn't there, we made it work. I was fortunate enough to get a football scholarship back in the 80s to go to the University of Richmond. There at the University of Richmond, I earned my degree in sociology and my minor in economics. And thereafter, I went on to earn my MBA at the University of Richmond. This is one thing that I find is really interesting. The MBA that I have earned from the University of Richmond is not really of value. I was fortunate that I was able to get these degrees and it didn't cost me anything because I had scholarship. So, as I have my conversation with you today, many of you who are high income earners, you're educated, you've gone to school, you may have sent your children to school, right? Your parents may have gone to college, and you're wondering, with this higher education that I have, Aaron, my wealth doesn't match the education. There's a reason for that. I am here to help you solve that concern. So let's have a conversation, breaking the cycle, how to build wealth when your circle doesn't understand it. See, your circle doesn't understand personal finance. Your circle doesn't understand how to build wealth. In many cases, you don't know how to build wealth. Oh, you do know how to make high income. You're very gifted, you're very talented at your skill set. It allows you to work in the government agencies, corporations, hospitals, universities. It allows you to earn a higher income. And you're bringing that income home and you're living what I call the good life. But what you haven't done is you haven't built wealth for yourself and for your children and for your grandchildren. That's true wealth. What you have built is high income. And there is a difference between high income and wealth. So let's talk about this today. First of all, there's a root to this problem. There's a root to this problem. And I'm going to break down some of these roots to the problem. And you must recognize that there is a root to the problem. Once you recognize there's a root to the problem, I'm going to give you some ideas. I'm going to give you some concepts around how to navigate this space so that you can position yourself for financial success. Well, one of the things that's so important, and let me say this with my practice. With my practice with $250 million under management, we work with individuals, small business owners, and professional athletes. That's who we work with. And I want to share with you, as we go through this conversation this evening, the importance of understanding that you're going to get your financial advice from people around you, directly or indirectly. Okay, so let's talk about it. Whenever you're trying to determine what you should do with your money, where you should invest it, right? Whether you should pay down your debt, whether you should buy a house or a second house, right? Whatever that decision that you're trying to make, many times what we do is we talk with the people around us to help us make a decision. That's almost like you're breaking your hip and you don't go to the doctor to get advice. You take advice from everybody that's surrounding you to help you determine what to do to repair your hip. Well, first of all, you wouldn't do that. You would get a professional. Well, many of you won't get a professional to help you with your money. There lies the first problem. All right. Now, I'm going to give it to you straight on Daily Bread. I'm going to give it to you straight because I have seen it all. When I sit down with my clients, when I have had opportunities to go speak to groups, I can tell you those who are successful and heading in that path financially. I also can tell you those who are going to be challenged. And it doesn't matter the income. So let's continue. First of all, as a root of the problem is that when you're taking financial recommendations from people around you, your parents, your friends, your colleagues, your pastor, indirectly, watch me now, indirectly sometimes, your, the tubes, your TV, right? Or a magazine that you have read. When you're taking that information from people around you, that is called love-driven advice. They're giving you what they think they know because they love you. They want to see that you make the best decision financially, but they can't share that information with you because they don't know. First of all, they're not qualified to tell you what to do with your money. I don't care how much they love you. They're not qualified to tell you what to do with your money. They're not. I'm telling you, one of the biggest impediments for you to build wealth is that you're taking your information from people that can't help you financially make a decision what to do with your money. Even if they could tell you what you should do with your money, they almost can't even fathom that they don't even know your financial situation. So it's almost impossible, even if they have some knowledge, to tell you what to do with your money. What we do is we have a tendency to also speak to people who we think are smarter than us, right? They're knowledgeable. We might see that they have on the outside financial wealth. Maybe they have a nice house, nice cars, nice jewelry, maybe some money in the bank account. We just don't know. We're encouraged to take advice from those people because we trust them. Okay? That's love-centric advice. Here, let me share. It doesn't work. It actually works against you. It hurts you. It hurts you because you don't have a plan and a strategy to allow you to reach the goals that you're trying to accomplish. See, those individuals don't even know your financial goals. Because they don't know your financial goals, you're purely guessing what to do with your money. And we all know when you don't study for the test and you guess, we know what happens. You don't want to guess with your hard-earned money. Well, what should you be doing, high-income earners? You should be getting a financial professional to advise you. That's right. A financial professional should be advising you. Why? First of all, they're going to protect your money because they're insured. Many times they're insured up to $500,000 through something that's called SIPC, SIPC. So your money is protected for fraud. So they know where to put you to protect your assets. They are many times connected with an institution that's FDIC, Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, to protect your assets. They also understand risk tolerance, the amount of risk you're willing to take or should be taking, and everybody is different. Okay? So you want to make sure that that professional does an allocation to make sure that you're in the best place as you build your long-term wealth. So, ladies and gentlemen, not only are they protecting you, not only are they licensed, not only are they certified, depending on the certifications that they have, is that they are trained, they're schooled. Are there some financial planners or advisors that are not good? Of course they are, right? That's in every profession. But once you find the one that you can trust, that you can connect with, that's knowledgeable, that knows how to get you there, it's going to make your life much easier. You're going to have a roadmap, and that roadmap is going to take you where you want to go. All right. Hey, we're talking about the root of the problem. All right. The root of the problem is love-centric advice versus professional advice. I want to start here because this is where the root starts. Right? Aaron, I'm coming to meet you, having a conversation with you. I've been getting my financial advice from my cousin. I need help. How do I fix it? That's what a professional can do for you. Let me say this as well in regards to love-centric advice. I think this is really important. Very important. If you are married, if you have a loved one, a partner, they can't tell you how to manage your wealth. Oh, that hurts. They can't tell you. They can't tell you. Even if they're on the same page with you and you want to build wealth as a family, it's almost not going to work 100% of the time. See, because they're not professionals either. Only working on emotions. I've seen so many individuals, high income earners, high educated individuals who have suffered financially because they have listened to one or the other of the spouse inform them that it's not important to get advice. Mm-hmm. Or they're not on the same team when it comes to personal finance. Oh, they're on the same team when it comes to everything else in their household. But when it comes to managing their money, they're not on the same team. And we know when you're not on the same team, there's disaster ahead financially. So that gives you just one part of the root problem. The second part of the root problem is we've been taught in our community, we've been taught scarcity. We believe that there's not enough out there. We think scarcity, right? I got to spend everything that I earn, right? I got to get as much as I can possibly get because there's only a limited amount available. Scarcity, right? We don't want to teach scarcity. We want to understand that that's plentiful. That's plentiful. I would tell you from a financial planning perspective, from a business perspective, there's so many wonderful opportunities in this country to become wealthy. Wonderful, wonderful ways to become wealthy. So we don't have to get out of the scarcity. Social proof. Social proof. Well, if nobody else is doing it, I'm not going to do it either. Nobody else is going to do it. I'm not going to do it either. Let me tell you something. Right here. The average African American salary, 150,000 and greater, has an average net worth of $300,000 to $500,000. That's your average net worth. And how do you calculate net worth, Aaron? You take the total amount of assets that you have in one column. In the other column, you take the total amount of liabilities that you have. And you take those assets, liabilities, subtract out the liabilities, that gives you your net worth. What is an asset, Aaron? Asset could be my house. It could be my car. It could be my jewelry, my 401k, my IRA, my savings checking money market, my brokerage account. These are all assets. What are my liabilities, Aaron? The debt that I have on my mortgage, liability. The debt that I have on my car, liability. The debt that I have on my business, liability. Take the assets, subtract the liabilities, give you your net worth. The average net worth of a high income earning African American is between 300,000 and 500,000. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. 2025 in this country right here, the wealthiest country on the planet, we want to get your wealth, your net worth up to a million and a half, 2 million. You deserve it. And it's actually easy to accomplish because you have the income. It's that you're not deploying your income properly. All right, that's the root. This is the root of the problem. And this root of the problem that we have in generating generational wealth has to be spoken about, has to be talked about, right? There's so many issues that we have going on in this country, so many social issues we have going on in this country. But one thing that we're not doing is we're not building our wealth because we have roots of the problem that we don't know how to manage. Let me go on. Let's continue to talk about how to build wealth when your circle doesn't understand it. I hope that you have something to write with, something to write on. Let's talk about broke advice phrases. These are some phrases. You've heard them. They're in our community. You heard them. They're in our community. You know, there's something that's called money scripts. I'm not going to get into money scripts right now. That's a long conversation, and but a valuable one. And money scripts, for the most part, just kind of talks about how you think about money. And where did you get that thinking about how you think about money? And it's usually developed when we're young, right? When we're young. When we're 4 years old, 5, 7, 10, 12 years old, we pick up our money scripts, right? And when we pick up these money scripts, we pick them up from our parents. We pick them up from, right, our educators, our teachers. We pick up these money scripts from what we see on TV. Mm-hmm. And many times these money scripts are not good. We all have them, right? I'm not going to talk about money scripts for right now, but I am going to talk about how money scripts are taught to us about some of the phrases that we use. Let me give you one, right? These are some broke phrases, broke advice phrases that I constantly hear. And there's a lot of them, but I'm just going to share a few of them. First, just get a government job with benefits. I want you to think about that for a second. Just get a government job with benefits. Have you been told that in your life when you were younger? Oh, there's nothing wrong with getting a government job. I have clients who are government employees who have done very well financially, right? But it takes away the ability for you to maximize on your talent and your skills. For you to be able to think about how I can use the skills and talents that I have to produce something, to sell something to the community and receive wealth from what I'm selling to the community and become wealthy. Because I'm just thinking about something safe. So when you think about government job with good benefits, many times what you're hearing from your loved ones, from your surroundings, what they're saying is be safe. Be safe. You're not going to build the wealth that's important to you by being safe. I didn't say be risky. I said not by being in a way that you have some risk. By just generally saying, I want safety. I want to be safe. Here's another phrase. Cash is better. Don't trust the banks. Have you ever heard that one? Cash is better. I don't trust the banks. You know, my grandmother and my grandfather, they told us not to trust the banks. Okay? That's a phrase. Right. That's a mentality of broke. You should trust the banks. If you properly know how to manage your wealth using the banks, if you know how to protect your assets, you should trust the banks. Nothing wrong with banks. It's how we use our strategies when we talk about banks. I'm going to get more in detail in regards to that as I continue to have these podcasts. I can tell you how you win when you're working with banking institutions, whether it's a large banking institution or whether it's a credit union. Here's another one. I hear this one a lot. Investing is gambling. Whoa, that's furthest from the truth. Investing is not gambling. Where we learn that from, right? Hold on for a second. Hold on for a second. I'm gonna prove it to you. Black Americans consume $1.2 trillion per year. We consume it. Weddings, eating out, traveling, right? Automobiles, homes, whatever it is that you consume on. 1.2 trillion we consume on. And almost every single product that you purchase is on the equity markets. It's on the stock market. You have an automobile. What type? Is it a Ford? On the equity markets. Is it a Tesla? On the stock market, on the equity markets. Right? Do you ever go into your bathroom? Tissue, toilet paper? Procter & Gamble. You drink Coca-Cola? You take your kids to Disney? You're riding your car on tires. Is it Michelin? Right? What do you eat for breakfast? Do you eat Kellogg? Cornflakes? See, the products that you use every single day, when you get up, they're in the equity markets. And you're consuming 1.2 trillion on the equity markets. You're putting money in these products. When you invest in these products through your spending, through your consuming, the value of these companies go up. However, have you thought about taking some dollars and investing in these same companies by buying shares of stock in these companies? See, because if you buy the shares, your value of your portfolio automatically goes up over time. Investing is not gambling. Investing is smart strategy so you can build for your future. Whatever your future wealth is, buying your new home, buying your second home, starting a business, giving assets over to your children or your grandchildren. See? But I hear that so much. Investing is gambling. And oh, I hear it from you too, high income earners. I hear it from you too. Yeah, you're making $150,000 to $500,000 a year. You're educated. You got a BA degree, master's, even higher. Many of you got professional certifications or degrees. And you believe that gambling is investing or investing is gambling. Then you wonder why your portfolios aren't going up. Your net worth isn't improving. Debt means you're doing something wrong. That's another one. See, I'm a fan of having no debt. I think this is important. You should not be paying 30-year mortgage. Now, I would have to go over these numbers to show you these numbers. I'm going to do that because I want to show you an amortization schedule and how amortization schedule works against you, how banking institutions work against you to build wealth for your family. It's an amortization schedule. You've been told that you should have a 30-year mortgage. I want you to think about this for a second. I want you to think about, why do you do a 30-year mortgage? Hmm? Because you were coached to, you were educated to, you were told to. Why don't you do a 10-year mortgage? Oh, Aaron, that's going to cost me much more. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. Every black person in this country should be doing that mortgages for 10 to 12 years. You should not have a 30-year mortgage. You can't get wealthy having a 30-year mortgage. That's why I said you can't take your advice from your friends. Mhm. You can't take advice from your coworkers. Financial advice, that is. You can't take financial advice from your TV. You can't take financial advice from your pastor. You can't take financial advice from your loved one because they're going to tell you do a 30-year mortgage. Mm-mm. Every black person that's tuning in, high income earner, you're a high income earner. And I'm especially going to focus on high income earners because you have the ability as a high income earner to build massive wealth in your household that you can pass on to your children, pass on to your grandchildren, and you can give to others. That's why I'm going to focus on you. No 30-year mortgages. As an African American, you're tuning in right now. Every African American high income earner should have two homes, minimum. Two houses, minimum. I'm going to tell you how to do this thing. I'm going to get more deeper into how you do this, how you can buy your dream home, and how you can have a second piece of property, a second home, and you become a landlord with that property. And as a landlord with that property, you can use that property to send your kids to college and they never have to take out student loan debt. You can have a second piece of property and it would pay for itself by having a tenant. Having that second piece of property can improve up on your net worth and it can reduce your tax liability, gives you tax benefits. That property in the future can be used to supplement your retirement. Or you can give it to your kids. Or you can give it to your grandkids. Or you can give it to your church. But you should have two properties. Why don't you have two properties? And those who do, congratulations. Those that have 3 and 4 and 5, congratulations. Oh, by the way, if you got 2, 3, 4, 5 properties, you're going to pay those properties off when? 10 to 12 years. You're not going to take 30-year mortgages out. This is how you build wealth. I'm just giving you the information, but I'm going to start giving you some concepts. Truly, how you do this. How you do this. You know what the beauty behind this is? Once you learn these strategies, you can teach them to your kids. You can have family meetings with your kids every week. And I'm going to tell you something that's beautiful about having family meetings about money. When you start educating about money, educating about money to your kids, something amazing happens. They get good with it. Not only do they get good with it, they say, Dad, hey man, you thought about going in partnership and doing this business or that business or that business? You become more cohesive as a family. It's amazing how good financial decisions that you make in your life allows you to become more cohesive when you engage your family. And oh, by the way, you start at 4 years old. Don't have to wait till they're 10. You start at 4. It's not too late if they're 30. Right? Data speaks louder than emotions. When you're talking about building wealth, you got to take the emotions out of it. We're all emotional about our money. Yes, we are. We all are emotional about our money, including yours truly. Right? We're emotional. I see my portfolio go up, I'm emotional. I see my portfolio go down, I'm emotional. And many times when you get too emotional and markets start to not work in your favor at the moment, many times you high income earners, you'll bail out of it. You bail out of it. I have seen individuals lose hundreds and thousands of dollars because they didn't have the proper advice. Somebody told them, take that money out of the stock market. Somebody told you, put money over here in this type of investment, right? And it didn't work out for you. Didn't work out for you because you did no due diligence. You didn't know how to do due diligence, and you didn't know what the risk you were taking with the portfolio. That's what I'm talking about today. How to build wealth when your circle doesn't understand it, and your circle doesn't understand it. Trust me, your circle, I don't care. I don't care what degrees they have. I've sat down there with the best, much brighter than I am, and I'm not that bright. I've sat down with physicians, either the surgeons, attorneys, engineers, business owners, high IQ, and they're challenged financially. Mhm. Not because they're not smart people, not because they're not good people. Sometimes many high income earners get in their own way because they think what we do over here is easy. I'm going to do it myself because it's easy. I'm smart enough to do it myself. Let's talk a little bit more about the data. Talk about the data because I think this is important. And I talked about it just a moment ago about $1.2 trillion that we're spending. In order to build wealth, you have to really be tuned in how you think about spending your money before you spend your money. You want to think about it. As Aaron said before, you're going to do a 30-year mortgage that you think about that you're locked in for 30 years. And that $500,000 home that you just purchased over 30 years is going to cost you $900,000 because of the accumulation of interest. Did you think about that? Did you think about that 400,000 additional amortization? How do you reduce that and get rid of that? Have you thought about that? You're making a decision to invest in your business or a business. Someone wants you to partner with them. Had you done the proper due diligence to understand what your risk tolerance is or what your risk level is if you invest in this investment? Had you thought about how much you're going to lose first versus potentially what you're going to gain? Have somebody told you something that sounds too good to be true? Because if it sounds too good to be true, yes, it's too good to be true. Did you check? Did you determine if this investment gives you some protection under the SEC or under FINRA, under SIPC or under FDIC? See, those are all the check marks. It's almost akin to you being a pilot. Before that pilot takes that plane off, they're going to make sure they check all of the bullet points to make sure that everything is the way it should be before they take off. How can you take off financially? How can you get there financially if you haven't checked off the box? Or you don't even know what boxes to check off. That's why financial advice is important. Because the financial advisor, financial planner with a good one is able to check off the boxes to protect you so that you can have peace of mind, you can be comfortable, you're able to live your best life, you have the freedom that you want. Because you don't have to what? Worry. Once again, I'm talking about breaking the cycle. How to build wealth when your circle don't understand it. And they don't understand it. I will close up this session. This session I'm going to close up this evening. And I want to continue to share with you that you're not listening to somebody that's confusing you on TikTok or social media, giving you a whole lot of baloney. You're talking to a 32-year veteran expert that has built wealth himself, who came from a very modest background, who has built tremendous wealth personally and has built over $250 million in his business advising people on what to do with their wealth. I know what I'm talking about. And I could say that. I could say that clearly that I know what I'm talking about. I know how to do it. And I give God all the glory because I'm not afraid to tell you that you, as a high income earner, deserve better. You haven't been taught about money. There's no school that you've gone to that teaches you about money. You've been taught how to earn a high income, and that's great. My job, my goal is to share with you how to win financially. And I ain't talking about pennies, y'all. This is America. You have high income, you're well educated. You should also allow your wealth to match your education. In many cases, even exceed your education. How you know if you're on track? How you know if you're on track? Ask yourself, can you kick your feet up? Can you stop working and have enough wealth to live your best life for the rest of your lifespan? If you can kick your feet up right now and have enough income coming in to cover all your expenses, to cover all of your entertainment, not only for your lifespan, but for your kids' lifespan, 2 lifespans, if you can do that, you are financially successful. If you can do it for a skip generation, not only for your lifespan, not only for your children's lifespan, but you can have money go to your grandchildren. Mhm. In other words, your kids don't outlive your wealth. You on target. And you know the beauty of it? You don't sacrifice your lifestyle to do this. Look here. Once again, thanks for tuning in. I'm Aaron Smith. We will have a conversation next week, and we're going to talk about the six-figure lie. Why most high-income earners actually stay broke. I'm going to tell you why you stay broke. And I'm going to give you some solutions on how to get yourself better financially. High income earners. God bless you. We look forward to talking to you soon.